Maya's head throbbed like someone was using her skull as a drum. She opened her eyes to unfamiliar ceiling, expensive sheets and the warm weight of an arm draped across her waist. Oh no. She turned her head slowly, carefully, and her breath caught. The man beside her was devastatingly beautiful, even in sleep. Sharp jawline, dark hair falling across his forehead, a small scar cutting through his left eyebrow. His bare chest rose and fell with steady breathing. Fragments of last night crashed through her mind. The underground art gallery in Taiwan. Too much soju. His smile when he'd asked about her paintings. The way he'd kissed her against a wall covered in graffiti. His apartment, his hands, his mouth. Oh God, his mouth. Maya slipped out of bed as quietly as possible, wincing at every sound. Her clothes were scattered across the floor like evidence at a crime scene. She grabbed her dress, her shoes, her underwear, and dressed faster than she'd ever moved in her life. The man stirred, mumbled something in Korean. She froze, holding her breath, but he just rolled over, still asleep. Maya spotted her phone on the nightstand and snatched it. The screen showed 47 missed calls from her roommate and 6 increasingly frantic texts. It was 6:30 a.m. Her internship started in 2 hours. She tiptoed toward the door of the bedroom, taking one last look at the stranger who'd made her forget her name for a few hours. Part of her wanted to stay, to wake him up, to see if last night was as incredible as her body seemed to remember. But she'd come to Seoul to start over, not to complicate her life with a one-night stand. She slipped out of the apartment and didn't look back. Hey, Seoul lovers, before we continue Maya's wild journey, we'd love to know where you're watching from. Drop your city and country in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. This story is about to get crazy, and you won't want to miss what happens next. 2 hours later, Maya stood in front of Zenith Media's glass tower, straightening her blazer for the 100th time. Her internship badge felt heavy around her neck. 6 months in Seoul as a graphic design intern, the opportunity of a lifetime. The chance to prove to her mother that she didn't need to follow the family tradition of law enforcement or business. She could build something of her own. The lobby was all marble and minimalist design. Maya checked in with security, received her visitor pass, and followed a cheerful HR coordinator named Gina to the creative department on the 15th floor. "You're so lucky," Gina said in practiced English. "Mr. Kang is very selective about interns. Your portfolio must have been exceptional." "Thank you," Maya replied, trying to match Gina's energy, despite her pounding headache. "I'm excited to be here. The CEO will address all new employees and interns at 9. It's mandatory." Gina glanced at her watch. "You have 30 minutes to settle in." Maya's desk was in an open creative space with 5 other designers. They greeted her warmly, a mix of curious and welcoming. She was setting up her laptop when someone whispered, "He's here early." The energy in the room shifted immediately. Everyone sat straighter, pretended to be deeply focused on their screens. Maya looked up, and her entire world tilted sideways. Walking through the creative department in a perfectly tailored black suit was him. The man from last night, the stranger whose bed she'd fled from. His hair was styled now, professional, but she'd recognize that scar anywhere. That jawline, those hands that had... His eyes locked onto hers. For 3 seconds, neither of them moved. The recognition in his gaze was immediate, scorching. His expression flickered from surprise to something darker, more intense. Then his face went carefully blank. "Good morning," he said in English, his voice smooth and controlled. The same voice that had whispered against her neck hours ago. "I'm Kang Taemin, CEO of Zenith Media. Welcome to the company." Maya's throat went dry. Her boss, her one-night stand, was her boss. "Miss Chen," he continued, and the way he said her name made her skin flush. I look forward to seeing your work." He moved on, greeting other team members, but Maya could feel his attention like a physical weight, even when he wasn't looking at her directly. Gina appeared at her elbow. "Wow, he actually spoke to you directly. That never happens with interns." "Lucky me," Maya managed weakly. The morning briefing was torture. Maya sat in the back of the conference room, trying to disappear, while Taemin presented Zenith's quarterly goals. He was magnetic, commanding the room effortlessly. Every time his gaze swept across the audience, she held her breath, terrified and hoping he'd look at her. When the meeting ended, everyone filed out. Maya tried to blend with the crowd, but his voice stopped her cold. "Miss Chen, a moment, please." The last few employees glanced back curiously before the door clicked shut, leaving them alone. Taemin leaned against the conference table, arms crossed. Up close, in the harsh fluorescent light, he was even more devastating than in the gallery's shadows. "We need to talk about last night," he said quietly. "There's nothing to talk about." Maya lifted her chin, refusing to be intimidated despite her racing heart. "It was a mistake. It won't happen again." "A mistake?" Something flickered in his expression. "Is that what you call it? I didn't know who you were, and now that you do. Now I'm your intern, nothing more." He studied her for a long moment. "You left without a word." "I left because I don't do random hookups." The lie tasted bitter. "Last night was out of character. I was jet-lagged and drunk, and—" "You weren't that drunk." His voice dropped lower. "You knew exactly what you were doing when you kissed me, when you asked me to take you home." Heat flooded her face. "Mr. Kang Taemin, Mr. Kang," she insisted. "I'm here to work, to learn, to build my career, not to be some office scandal." Agreed, but he didn't move away. "This stays between us. What happened last night never happened. You're my intern, nothing more. Professional boundaries only." "Perfect, perfect," he echoed. But his eyes said something entirely different. If you're enjoying this story, hit that like button and let us know in the comments what you think Maya should do. Should she keep her distance or give in to the tension? We love hearing from you. The next 2 weeks were exquisite torture. Maya threw herself into work, determined to prove she'd earned this internship through talent, not because she'd accidentally slept with the CEO. Her designs were sharp, innovative, catching the attention of senior designers. But Taemin was everywhere. In morning briefings, walking past her desk, reviewing her work with careful professionalism, while his gaze burned. He never touched her, never said anything inappropriate. But the tension between them was suffocating. "You're staring again," whispered Hannah, the Korean-German designer who'd become Maya's friend and roommate. "I'm not staring. You're absolutely staring." Hannah grinned. "And he's staring back. What's the story there?" "There's no story." "Liar." Maya was saved from answering by Gina's announcement. "Miss Chen, Mr. Kang wants to see you in his office." The elevator ride to the executive floor felt like ascending to her own execution. Taemin's secretary waved her through without comment. His office was minimalist luxury. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Seoul, dark wood desk, leather furniture. Taemin stood by the windows, hands in his pockets. "Close the door," he said without turning. Maya did, her heart hammering. "I have a project for you." He finally looked at her. "Zenith is rebranding. New logo, new visual identity, new campaign. I want you to lead the design." She blinked. "Me? I'm an intern. You're talented. Your portfolio showed vision that our current team lacks." He moved closer. "Unless you're not interested in the opportunity." "I'm interested. I just don't understand why." "Because you see things differently." He was close now, close enough that she could smell his cologne. The same scent from that night. Your work has depth, emotion. That's what Zenith needs. Okay. She forced herself to meet his eyes. When do I start? Now. You'll work directly with me. Daily meetings to review progress. That's not necessary. I can report to daily meetings, Miss Chen. His voice was soft but absolute. This rebrand is crucial. I don't delegate what matters. The implication hung between them, dangerous and thrilling. Professional boundaries, she reminded herself. Always. But his gaze dropped to her mouth for just a second before he stepped back. We start tomorrow, 8 a.m. Don't be late. Maya left his office, feeling like she'd agreed to something far more dangerous than a design project. The rebrand consumed Maya's life. Every morning at 8, she met with Taemin in his office. They reviewed designs, debated concepts, pushed each other. He was brilliant and demanding, never satisfied with good enough. This doesn't capture what Zenith is, he said one morning, studying her latest mock-up. What is Zenith? Maya challenged. Because from the outside you're a media company. But there's something else, isn't there? Something you're not saying. Taemin went very still. What makes you think that? Your numbers don't make sense. She pulled up spreadsheets on her laptop. Revenue streams that don't match output. Holdings in strange industries. I wasn't snooping, I just noticed patterns. And what patterns do you see? I see a company built on something other than media. I see money moving in ways that feel hidden. She met his gaze. I see secrets. For a long moment, he said nothing. Then he closed her laptop and walked to the windows. My grandfather started Zenith 40 years ago, he said quietly. Not as a media company, as something else, something less legal. My father legitimized parts of it, but kept others running beneath the surface. Gambling, protection, territory control. When he died 2 years ago, I inherited everything, the company and the empire underneath. Maya's stomach dropped. You're telling me Zenith is a front for organized crime. I'm telling you I'm trying to change it, to make it legitimate. But you don't just walk away from that world without consequences. Why are you telling me this? He turned to face her. Because you deserve to know what you're designing for. Because I won't lie to you, even if the truth is dangerous. I should quit. You should. He moved closer. But you won't. Why wouldn't I? Because you see me, Maya. Not the CEO, not the heir to a criminal empire. You see who I'm trying to become. His hand lifted, almost touching her face before dropping. And I see you, not the intern trying to prove herself. The artist who paints emotions in colors no one else notices. Her breath caught. You remember. I remember everything about that night. The way you described seeing feelings as colors. How anger looks red but tastes like copper. How joy is yellow but sounds like bells. His voice dropped. How desire is purple and feels like falling. We can't. But she didn't move away. I know. You're my boss. This is impossible. I know that too. They stood there, inches apart. The tension so thick Maya could barely breathe. His phone rang, shattering the moment. He answered in rapid Korean, his expression darkening with every word. When he hung up, his jaw was tight. Problem? Maya asked. Family business. Nothing you need to worry about. But she did worry. Over the next week, she noticed changes. More men in expensive suits visiting Taemin's office. Conversations that stopped when she approached. Tension radiating from him. Like heat. Then the threat started. The first message came through the company system. Anonymous. The black girl should go home. Korea doesn't want her. Maya deleted it. Tried to ignore the sick feeling in her stomach. But more came. nastier, more explicit. Someone had noticed her, and they didn't like what they saw. She didn't tell Taemin, didn't want to seem weak or scared, but he found out anyway. "Why didn't you tell me?" He stormed into the design office after hours when only Maya remained working late. "These messages, this harassment, why didn't you report it?" "Because I can handle it." "You shouldn't have to." He was angrier than she'd ever seen him. "This is because of me. Because people know we're working closely together. Or it's because I'm black in a country that isn't always welcoming. Don't make this about you." He stopped, processing that. "You're right. I'm sorry, but I'm still going to find out who sent these. Please don't. It'll just make things worse." "Maya, I mean it, Taemin." She stood, facing him. "I don't need you to fight my battles. I need you to trust that I can handle this myself." Something shifted in his expression. Respect, maybe. "Okay, but if it escalates, then I'll tell you." We're halfway through Maya and Taemin's story. What do you think happens next? Drop your predictions in the comments and don't forget to like this video if you're hooked. Where are you watching from? Let us know below. The turning point came 3 weeks into the rebrand project. Taemin invited Maya to a gallery opening, purely professional, to observe how luxury brands presented themselves. At least, that's what he claimed. The gallery was in Gangnam, exclusive and expensive. Maya wore a simple black dress, uncomfortable being around so much wealth. Taemin appeared in a dark suit that probably cost more than her entire internship stipend. "You look beautiful," he said quietly when he saw her. "This is professional," she reminded him. "Professional," he agreed, but his eyes said otherwise. They moved through the gallery, discussing art and branding. Maya relaxed slightly, enjoying the work, the conversation. For a moment, it felt like that first night again. Just two people connecting over something they both loved. Then a woman approached, stunning, elegant, radiating the kind of confidence that came with old money and perfect breeding. "Taemin Oppa," she said sweetly, looping her arm through his. "I didn't expect to see you here." Taemin's entire body went rigid. "Yuna, aren't you going to introduce me to your friend?" Yuna's gaze raked over Maya with thinly veiled disdain. "Maya Chen, this is Park Yuna, an old acquaintance." "His ex-fiancee," Yuna corrected, smiling like a shark. "Though we both know it's just a matter of time before we reconcile. Our families have been planning our union since we were children." Maya's stomach dropped, but she kept her expression neutral. "Nice to meet you." "Charming." Yuna dismissed her entirely, turning back to Taemin. "Father wants to discuss the merger. He's waiting in the private viewing room." "Not tonight. It wasn't a request, Appa." Something dangerous flashed in Yuna's eyes. "You can't avoid family obligations forever, especially not for an intern." The word was laced with contempt. Maya felt herself shrinking, old insecurities rising. Then Taemin stepped away from Yuna and moved beside Maya. Not touching but close. A statement. "I'll speak with your father tomorrow," he said coldly. "Tonight I'm busy." Yuna's expression went ice cold. "You're making a mistake. She doesn't belong in our world." "This conversation is over." Yuna left with a final cutting look at Maya. When she was gone, Maya let out a shaky breath. "I should go." "Don't." Taemin's hand caught hers. "Don't let her drive you away." "She's right, though. I don't belong in your world. Arranged fiancés, family mergers, criminal empires. I'm just an intern from San Francisco, trying to figure out her life." "You're more than that." "Am I?" Maya pulled her hand away. "Or am I just a distraction? Something different and exciting until reality calls. That's not fair, isn't it?" She grabbed her purse. "You told me about your past, about Zenith's secrets. But you didn't mention you're engaged. I'm not engaged. That arrangement ended when my father died. I'm not bound by it. But the families expect it. Yuna expects it. Maya's voice cracked. And I'm just the black intern who doesn't understand how things work here. Maya, I need to go. I'll have the rebrand mock-ups ready by Friday. She left before he could stop her, before the tears came, before she completely fell apart. Maya didn't return to the office for 2 days. She claimed food poisoning via email, but really she was hiding, processing, trying to rebuild the walls around her heart that Taemin had somehow demolished without her permission. Hana brought her soup and unwanted advice. You're in love with him. I'm not in love with him. I barely know him. You know him well enough to be heartbroken. Hana sat on the edge of Maya's bed. What are you going to do? Finish my internship, go home, forget this ever happened. Such a good plan. Very believable. On the 3rd day, Taemin showed up at her apartment. Maya opened the door to find him standing there, looking exhausted and determined. We need to talk, he said. I'm sick. You're hiding. Can I come in? Against her better judgment, she stepped aside. Her apartment was tiny compared to his penthouse, barely big enough for a bed and desk. He looked around, taking in her space. Her paintings covered one wall, explosions of color that she'd never shown anyone at work. These are incredible, he said softly, moving closer to study them. This one, what does it mean? It's what loneliness looks like. Blue-gray, cold, echoing. And this, hope, yellow-gold, warm, rising. He turned to face her. What color am I? Maya hesitated. You're complicated. Deep red, almost burgundy. Rich but dangerous. You taste like smoke and sound like thunder. She stopped, embarrassed. That sounds ridiculous. No, it sounds like you. He moved closer. Maya, I ended things with Yuna's family, officially. The merger won't happen. The arrangement is over. Because of me. Because I don't want a life built on obligations and appearances. I want something real. You can't just blow up your life for someone you barely know. I know you better than you think. His hand cupped her face, thumb tracing her cheekbone. I know you're brilliant and brave, that you came to Seoul alone to chase a dream, that you see the world in ways no one else does, that you challenge me, push me, make me want to be better than what I inherited. Taemin, I know I'm asking too much, that my world is dangerous and complicated, but I'm asking anyway. His forehead touched hers. Give us a chance, a real one. Maya's defenses crumbled. This is crazy. I know. Your family will hate me. Your ex will make my life hell. The company will think I slept my way into opportunities. I know all of that. And you still want this? More than I've wanted anything. She kissed him. Urgent and desperate. 3 weeks of tension exploding into that single moment. He responded immediately, pulling her closer, deepening the kiss until they were stumbling toward her bed. Are you sure? He murmured against her lips. Stop talking. They undressed each other slowly this time. No alcohol-fueled urgency. Just want and choice and intention. When he entered her, she gasped, arching into him. He moved with deliberate care, watching her face, learning what made her moan, what made her clutch his shoulders. You're so beautiful, he whispered in Korean, then English. So perfect. Don't stop, she breathed, wrapping her legs around his waist. He didn't. He brought her to climax twice before finding his own release, her name on his lips like a prayer. Afterward, they lay tangled together in her small bed, sweat cooling on their skin. What happens now? Maya asked quietly. Now we figure it out. Together. It should have been the happy ending. It wasn't. The next week, Maya's mother called. I'm coming to Seoul. We need to talk. Dr. Jennifer Chen arrived like a Category 5 hurricane, former FBI agent turned cybersecurity consultant. She'd built a career on being 3 steps ahead of everyone else. She took one look at Maya and Taemin together at a restaurant, and her expression went ice cold. "We need to speak. Alone," she told Maya. In the hotel room, Jennifer didn't waste time. "Do you know who that man is?" "Yes, he's my boss, my boyfriend. He's Kang Taemin, heir to one of Seoul's largest organized crime families. His company is being investigated for money, laundering, racketeering, and connections to international smuggling operations." Maya's world tilted. "What?" "I've been consulting on the case for 6 months, that's why I'm here. And you're sleeping with the primary target. He's trying to legitimize the business. He told me about his family's past." "And you believed him?" Jennifer's voice softened slightly. "Sweetheart, men like him don't change. They just get better at hiding what they are. You don't know him. I know his type. I've put hundreds of them away." She pulled out a folder. "These are surveillance photos, meetings with known criminals, money transfers, evidence that Zenith is still operating illegal enterprises." Maya stared at the photos, her stomach churning. "There has to be an explanation. The explanation is that he's using you. You have access to company systems, to information. You're the perfect unwitting accomplice." "No, he wouldn't. Maya!" Jennifer gripped her daughter's shoulders. "I need you to walk away, now, before you get caught up in something that destroys your life." That night, Maya confronted Taemin in his office after hours. "Is it true?" She slammed the folder on his desk. "Are you still running criminal operations?" He opened the folder, his expression darkening. "Where did you get this?" "My mother. She's FBI. She's investigating you." "Fuck." He stood, pacing. "Maya, it's not what it looks like." "Then explain it. Explain why you're meeting with known criminals, why money is moving through offshore accounts. Because I can't just cut ties overnight without getting people killed, including myself." He turned to face her. "I'm dismantling the organization piece by piece, but it has to look like business as usual, or rivals will move in. There'll be a war. So you're still a criminal." "I'm trying not to be." "That's not good enough." Tears burned her eyes. "My mother is building a case against you. She wants me to inform, to gather evidence. Will you?" The question hung between them. Maya thought about everything she'd learned about Taemin. His tenderness, his honesty about his past, the way he looked at her like she mattered. But she also thought about the photos, the evidence, the reality of what he was. "I don't know," she whispered. "I don't know what to do." "Then let me show you something." He took her to a warehouse in Incheon. Inside, she found not criminal operations but a community center. Kids doing homework, families getting meals, job training programs. "This is what I'm building," Taemin said. "With the money from the old operations, I'm creating something that actually helps people. Programs for youth, for families trapped in poverty. I can't just shut down the criminal side without finding a way to support the communities that depend on it." "Why didn't you tell me this before?" "Because it's not enough. I'm still complicit, still benefiting from illegal money." He looked exhausted. "But I'm trying."
Maya, every day I'm trying to be better. Before we wrap up, we'd love to hear from you one last time. What would you do in Maya's position? Comment below and don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this. Hit that like button if this journey moved you. Maya made her choice that night. She went back to her mother and said, "I won't inform, but I won't obstruct either. Whatever happens, happens." Jennifer wasn't happy, but she understood. "Just promise me you'll be careful." "I promise." The investigation came to a head 2 months later. Federal agents, Korean police, everyone descended on Zenith. But when they searched the records, they found something unexpected.
evidence of systematic dismantling of criminal operations, documented transitions to legitimate business, community programs funded with divested assets. Taemin had been building his case for legitimacy all along, creating a paper trail that proved his intent to change. He wasn't fully cleared. There were fines, sanctions, forced restructuring. But he wasn't arrested. The prosecutors acknowledged his cooperation and genuine efforts at reform. Through it all, Maya stood beside him. Not behind him, not as a victim or accomplice, but as an equal. She finished the rebrand, which became a symbol of Zenith's new direction. Clean, honest, forward-looking. Her internship ended, but she didn't go home. Instead, she launched her own design firm in Seoul, with Taemin as her first major client. They built separate lives that intertwined by choice, not necessity. 6 months later, they stood on his penthouse balcony, watching Seoul light up at night. "What color is this?" Taemin asked, gesturing to the city. "Purple," Maya said softly, "like desire, like falling. Are we still falling? Every day." He kissed her, and it tasted like smoke and possibility and the future they were building together. Not perfect, not easy, but theirs. Thank you for joining Maya and Taemin's journey from collision to choice. We'd love to know what you thought. What was your favorite moment? What surprised you? Drop your thoughts in the comments and tell us where you're watching from. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories that'll keep you up at night. Until next time, soul lovers.